What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. It is the first day of spring practice. Got a lot of live updates. Got multiple people on the ground over there. We'll also bring Peter on for his car breakdown after the media session is done. We'll run that one live. We'll be giving you all the live updates from spring. So a lot to talk about. As always, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. All right, the people are fired up. You can see it in the comments, already rolling. As you could probably tell, I am not in Miami right now. I am currently out of state. I'm in Colorado with my family. I will be back soon to give you my own live updates of spring practice, but we got multiple people on the ground. We got Peter Reeves, who'll be joining us later. Sebastian Font, who's been posting updates on CanesInsight.com. 7.9 million posts and counting. Remember to check that site out for free for all the latest on spring practice. No one's covering it like us at CanesInsight.com. Also have Ethan, our guy, Kane Muse. He's posting stuff as well on Twitter, Instagram, all that. So you can see it. A lot of recruits on campus, a lot going on, and we will get to all of it. But let's just start with just some live updates, man. Like I said, I am out, but we got multiple boots on the ground, and I wanted to just kind of scroll through some of the videos that they're all posting so you can get a feel for what's happening out there and just what these guys look like. Just get a first glimpse at some of these recruits, some of these players that we're all excited about. So without further ado, let me pull up the Twitter account for our guy, Sebastian Font. There he is, right there. All right, so here you go first. Start with some recruiting. How about that? You got Amir Sears. We talked about him yesterday. 5-star player from the class of 2028, watching the practice. By the way, people are going to ask about defensive back coach. Expect an announcement on that shortly, but I know that Terry Jefferson, the previous Nichols coach, is running the practice for the Canes. Here you go. How about this? How about Darian Coleman, number 11? Miami's true freshman signing. Let's look at some of his highlights here as he throws the ball, warming up. So that release is what has people very excited about Darian Coleman. Another new addition, Cooper Barkay. Let's look at him running around here. As we expand here, I'm just going to roll through all these clips, just give you a glimpse of what's going on. Figure that's better than me talking about it. You want to see it for yourself. There he is, live in the flesh. There is Cooper Barkay, Miami's new wide receiver. There's a photo right there. As you can see, side to side. Far left, that is Dre Jacobs, Vandrevius Jacobs. This is the wide receiver for South Carolina, transferred to the Canes, 17-plus yards per catch. Not the biggest guy in the world, but this guy flies. And he probably looks small because he's staying next to Milan Paris, number 19, 4-star wide receiver from Akron, Ohio. Tyron Evans, number 83, big wide receiver from Charlotte, North Carolina. So there you see those guys in action. How about the star of the show, Darian Mensah? You see him right here. Just to get a good look at his release. He's a bigger guy than I expected when I saw him in person. I mean, obviously, standing next to Jed, he's not going to look that big, but he is actually a good size, NFL size quarterback. You know this guy, number 1. We'll go through all the new numbers here in a second, but that is number 1, Malachi Toney. Best football player in the country, hands down. You see him right there running around as Darian Mensah is now wearing that number 10. All right, what else we got from Sebastian here? How about Cam Vaughn, wide receiver from West Virginia? There you got him right there. As he makes a catch in the corner of the end zone one-handed, he is wearing number 17. I'm sure there's some people listening to this on audio with some FOMO, but basically I'll try to describe it the best I can. You have Cam Vaughn catching a one-handed pass, one-handed catch in the corner of the end zone. He is wearing number 17, the West Virginia transfer, someone who's going to compete. More shots at Malley in the number 1. Here's Mensah. See if there's anything new from Font here. As these updates, this is all live, by the way, so they are just putting these out just as fast as we are going through them. Let's switch over to our guy, Ethan, Canes Muse, our boy. He's been posting a ton of stuff. Him and Sebastian went live on the CanesInSight Instagram after the pro day. So you maybe got your first look at these guys. They're doing a great job covering the Canes. Let me just pull this up here so you can see some more clips of spring practice from our guy, Ethan. There's another look at Malachi Tony wearing the Uno, then number 1. Here's Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle. You see them running around here. The size of both those guys. That running back room is going to be a strength of the team. Excited to see what Lyle can do. Got to keep Mark Fletcher healthy. This is a good drill right here. Let's just watch it real quick. As we got the receivers and some running backs making some over-the-head catches. You saw Van Spafford earlier, followed by Mark Fletcher. There's Gerard Pringle now wearing number 0. Here's Marty Brown. You saw his hands throughout that playoff run. But there, I want to show you that one right there. Van Spafford, he's been making an impact in these workouts, someone that I personally saw on campus, and he is causing quite a stir in the workouts with his speed, with his route running. Reminds me of a Philip Dorsett. Let's look at Cooper Barkate, the Duke transfer again. As you can see him running routes. This is what you saw on film all over and over. Just the ability to catch the ball with his hands and quickly get upfield without slowing down. He has total confidence in his hands, which allows him to play even faster than he is, and he is pretty fast. You also see the physique. He is a much bigger player than some of these young guys because he's been in college for 5 years. All right, here we go. We got to drill all the quarterbacks. But there you go. Number 19, Milan Paris. Running like a quick, I don't know if you call that a hitch, almost like an angle route. Just crossing and stopping. There's Vandrevius Jacobs and Malachi Tony in that shot. Who else do we got here? Then there's Milan Paris, big wide receiver from Akron, Ohio. As we continue to scroll, let's have some more in Wingo. One of the more talked about players in this class. Really exploded. I want to highlight this player right here too that you see, number 14, Izzy Briggs. He has gotten a lot stronger since he got on campus. Almost looked like a wide receiver when he visited, but he is really bulked up. Wingo's going to be a stud. You can tell just by the way he moves. But Briggs right there, just look at his size. He's put on, I think, close to 25 pounds since he got here. I was worried he'd be just an oversized wide receiver, but he is turning into a true tight end. I don't know if he's going to be an inline guy necessarily, but he is somebody who's going to be able to truly be a tight end with that wide receiver athleticism. And he is a phenomenal athlete. I mean, you can just tell by seeing him move around. A lot of this is just seeing guys move around, just seeing how big they are. You're not going to get too much from these media clips where they allow the media in. But there you see Darren Coleman again with that release. Here you got some blocking drills, as Ethan points out, best blocking wide receiver group in the country. So working on getting in there. You see Dalen Upshaw wearing number 7 now. I think he earned that number with his physicality and just his great work ethic. Good to see him healthy as well. Remember, he was hurt at the end of the season. So glad to see him healthy and doing his thing. Here's some nice combinations here. So you got Darian Mensa handing it off to Javion Mallory, the running back from West Boca, wearing that number 21. And there's Gerard Pringle, number 0, who is going to be a very, very dynamic part of the backfield this season with that new number in tow. We got some, wow, man, these updates are coming hot and heavy here. So we're trying to give it to you live as we get them. Here's Omar Thornton, the safety / nickel from Boston College. He can deliver tremendous impact. You saw highlights of him knocking a dude out from SMU and doing the go to sleep after the guys got knocked out. Here you see Bryce Fitzgerald wearing the number 3. He's expected to be a true All-America type player this year. He was a freshman All-America last year. I think they're going to really, really push him because they know how good he can be. Just some written updates from Canes Muse saying Justin Scott and Armando Blunt going to be scary. Obviously seeing the size there. And then Jackson Cantwell is massive. So there's some updates there. Let's see what the comments are going before we switch to some more of the new videos. Flankerton says, D, it's looking like Jurassic Park all over the field, not just the trenches. Yeah, I agree with that. Also saying expect Upshaw to be a vocal leader in that room. I think he definitely works hard. Port Knox saying, do you think Spafford can play a role in the return game? He reminds me of Dorsett, where, I don't believe that he is a true dynamic, like catch the ball and make a million guys miss. He's, to me, a true receiver, just happens to have that 4.3 speed. Again, I compare him to a Philip Dorsett in that way. Clutch saying that Ethan and Sebastian did a great job on IG Live with the Q&A. Yeah, those guys are doing a really good job. Go Canes Matt asking, is Pete at practice? Yep, Pete's out there. He'll be on this show. Once they kick out the media after a certain amount of time, he'll jump right in his car and get live here. Kyle saying Tony is the punt returner. That's probably the case. You got some other candidates, though, as well. I mean, Bryce Fitzgerald's a really good punt returner himself. And, yeah, Thornton is a thumper. All right, let's see if we got any new updates from Sebastian. I'm sure we do, because these updates are coming in hot and heavy. Let's see. No updates now. They might be kicking these guys out. So let me just let me see. While we're doing this, let me pull up, especially for the poor folks listening on audio that are just hearing us talk about these highlights. Let's talk about something that a little easier to break down. This is going to be the new Hurricanes numbers. Our guy Adam Lichtenstein, he posted the roster. But basically, here's some new Hurricane numbers to keep an eye on as you watch these clips. Omar Thornton, the safety/nickel from Boston College, he's wearing number 0. Malachi Toney, of course, number 1 now. Vendrius Jacobs, Dre Jacobs from South Carolina, number 8. Darian Mensah, number 10. Damon Wilson, the Missouri transfer, the defensive end, is wearing 10 on defense. Darion Coleman, as we saw, number 11. Samorian Wingo, number 12. Ashari Charles, number 12. These are the freshmen. Vance Spafford, number 13. Israel Briggs, the tight end from California, we just saw him, number 14. Brody Jennings, defensive back from Jacksonville, number 15. Cam Vaughn, the West Virginia wide receiver transfer, we just saw him do that one-handed catch during the drills, 17. Cooper Barkate, the Duke transfer, number 18. All right. Also, Milan Paris, who we just saw, the big receiver from Akron, number 19. Jalen Waters, defensive back from Sefner, Tampa area, number 19. Also, but on defense, Javian Mallory, 21 on offense as the West Boca running back. Camden Portis, defensive back, nickelback really, from Charlotte, North Carolina, son of Clinton Portis, number 21. Jake Weinberg, the big leg kicker from FSU, going to be like the kickoff guy, potentially also the field goal kicker, number 22. JJ Dunnigan, the freshman sensation, we've been talking about him, someone that you really need to pay attention to. He's number 25, playing all over the defensive backfield. He's one of those freshmen to put a star next to his name. Justin Edwards, J.J. Edwards, the linebacker from Orlando, number 32. Jordan Campbell, the linebacker from Northwestern, number 34. Jontavius Wyman, defensive back from Atlanta, 36. His teammate, Cortez Redding, another defensive back from Atlanta, 37. Conrad Hussey, transfer from FSU at safety, number 38. Keyshawn Stansel is an interesting one, the defensive tackle, number 40. And Logan Nagel, who's bulked up a lot, a defensive tackle from New Jersey, number 42. So actually, there's 3 defensive tackles with freshman defensive tackles with numbers in the 40s. Tyson Bacon, number 44. That's the defensive tackle from Alabama. Isaac Chikwura, number 52. This is the defensive tackle from Delaware. J.J. Sparks, offensive lineman from Jacksonville, number 55. Jonathan Klein, I believe he's originally from Georgia, but he's a D2 transfer. Depth on the offensive line, 56. Reese Woodrow, the center from Orlando, true freshman, 57. Ben Congdon, tackle from Ohio, number 58. Joel Irvin, who's dealing with some injuries, as is Jamal Merriweather, but they will be big parts of this team. Joel Irvin, 70. Jamal Merriweather, the Georgia transfer at tackle, 71. Big Jackson Campbell was going to compete to start, not just at right tackle, but left tackle, number 79. Jack Olson, a walk-on, number 82. Lisa might be the long snapper. It could be wrong on that. 83, Tyron Evans from Charlotte. Gavin Mueller, tight end from Chicago, 87. DeAnthony Lafayette, pass rusher from Orlando, 88. Jarquez Carter, the transfer from Ohio State, number 91. Fred Saintius, defensive tackle from Naples via Haiti, 93. And Keona Davis, the Nebraska transfer, 97. I believe Dalen Upshaw is also number 7 as another change. So just want to run through some of those changes. Let's see if there's any new updates posted. Ethan's he tweeted from practice that Hayden Lowe looks like an absolute beast. Excited for him to be involved this season. So these defensive linemen are looking big. That's not a surprise. That's certainly what I saw when I was down there. Very impressed. I was able to catch up with Justin Scott and just impressed with his maturity, his size. He looks like an NFL player and a guy that is just ready to make that next step. He saw what Ruben Bain and these guys did. So we know what that's about. All right, Sebastian Font saying that Samorian Wingo is already making big plays at Canes football spring practice. So Wingo starting to generate some buzz again. I am going through these updates as quick as I can and giving you to you live as in living color. D. Briz says, I had high hopes for Wyman this year, but just saw his jersey number. I think he'll be all right. Kamal Bonner, good point. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see that one on the New Jersey numbers, but I believe he is 11 based on what I saw. John Z's ready to see Jarquez Carter, defensive tackle originally from like Newberry, which is by Gainesville. He's getting a lot of buzz. I'm excited to see what he does. Again, this is just first practices, first practices, no pads. I'll be down there when the pads start popping. But for now, a lot of it's just kind of body typing, seeing what guys look like, seeing how guys act. That's really where practice, I think, is very valuable at this time of the year. Our girl Kaz C2 posted a video of Javian Mallory. Yeah, he looks very good. Javian Mallory is someone who's again generating a good amount of buzz this season. So that's someone to keep an eye on. See any new videos here? Not seeing a ton. Some more Wingo making plays, like we said. Yeah, I think that media session is just about winding down. We'll get Peter on here in a second. Canes 2026 champs has told him about Wingo, man, too good to keep off the field. His size, his just complete game. He's fluid. He's a former basketball player, hands catcher, super productive in high school. His senior year, he grew to almost a 5-star player. He can run after the catch. He's got core strength, so he can absorb a hit, keep his balance, absorb contact, stay on track with his route. He's quarterback friendly. He knows how to come back to the ball. He does a lot of things that just translate to easy playing time. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Our guy Guido says, where are you at, D? Excited for spring football. Go Canes from Italy. Yeah, shout out to you. I am actually in Colorado with the family for spring break. There were some Italian skiers out here. I was talking to yesterday from the Dolomite Mountains. So shout out to Italy. Sergio says 4.33D. Talking about Keontae Scott, first round pick now. 44-inch vert too, which is maybe even more impressive, man. The acceleration, you saw that the whole time. He was accelerating off the line, making plays in the backfield, doing his thing. So I'm not shocked that he ran well. Honestly, I thought he should have ran in the combine, but he was still getting up to speed. More updates here flowing in. As we've talked about on the show, the Jackson Cantwell, a lot of us talked about him as a day one kind of right tackle prospect, a 5-star player from Missouri, but he is actually not just playing right tackle. He is playing left tackle. And from what I've gathered, talking to sources, he's got a real shot to win that left tackle job. Again, very, very early. But those of you who listen to the CanesInSight podcast should not be surprised that Cantwell is getting reps at left tackle. We talked about it yesterday when I was talking to Pete. We've been talking about it for a minute now. So that is not a surprise that is what's happening because, like I said, they're going to give him a shot at left tackle. The movement skills and all that stuff, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if he's, day one is hard to play left tackle for anybody. I don't think he is the I wouldn't say his game is based primarily on quickness, although he is a great athlete. He ran 4.7 something in the shuttle during the combine testing as when he was a high school player at like a 4.9 40. Those are good numbers for his size. Really good numbers for a high school kid his size, verified, which is why he was so highly ranked, among other reasons. So he has some movement skills. He'll catch a touchdown his senior year, played a little basketball and tight end earlier in his career, but really his game is power. And I think, yes, you might beat him side to side now and then, especially if he's playing left tackle as a true freshman, but he's got huge, powerful hands. That's why he's one of the best shot putters that the country has ever seen at his age. And at left tackle, those hands come in handy. You can't bull rush him. He'll knock you out. He will Obviously, his run blocking is going to be superb. That's going to be a signature for him. But that power also helps him in the bull rush because you're not going to be able to just bull rush him. As far as being able to deal with side-to-side rushers, the guys like the Marquise Lightfoots of the world, that's going to be where his technique, his coaching, learning how to use his length, which is tremendous in terms of plus wingspan at 6'7". Quick update here from Ethan. Canes Muse says that Xavier Lucas absolutely shutting down wide receivers right now. Not surprised. Xavier Lucas, third year, basically, he was a part-time starter when he was at Wisconsin. Obviously, a full-time starter last year, even though we did play a lot of corners. He was that guy. 4.4, 4.3 type of speed, 10.5 in the 100 meters, so it's all verified. So, yeah, excited to see what he can do with just another season, getting away from the cloud of the Wisconsin lawsuit and all that stuff, and really trying to elevate his game to be an NFL player. 220 Greenwich says, our cornerback group is the best in forever. I would agree with that. It's, I don't know, forever, but it's been the best in a long time when you talk about, again, Xavier Lucas, O.J. Frederick, Ethan O'Connor, Damari Brown, right? Some really, really talented players who I didn't expect all to be back, quite frankly, and they are all back, which is great to see. All right, let's see if we get any updates here from Sebastian and Ethan. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. They might be wrapping up again. Like I said, usually around this time, all the media folks take off. Pete will jump into his car, and he will be live with us to talk Canes. While we're waiting for some more updates, talk about some friends of mine, including Papa's Alt Brew, Papa's Alternative Brew. You want to get away from alcohol a little bit. You want to get away from the booze and replace it with a superior alternative. Papa's Alternative Brew, PAPAS Alternative Brews, papasaltbrew.com. 60 calories, real hops. This beer, the difference is instead of booze, you get your buzz from 7.5 to 10 milligrams of THC, delivering all over the country, including Florida, brewed in Medford, Oregon. Our guy, Nick West, he is probably checking the practice updates right now. He is a huge Canes fan, daily CanesInSight guy. And if you use promo code CANES, again, that's promo code CANES, you get 25% off your purchase. So order papasaltbrew.com today. Get your order. Again, promo code CANES, Canes. Just put Canes right there, CANES, and you get 25% off your order. Not forget your first order, your order at papasaltbrew.com. So do that today. You will not regret it. 7.5 to 10 milligrams of THC. But if you want some alcohol, none better than ZONIN, ZONIN Prosecco, available in Total Wines all over the country, locally, Jensen, Liquors, ABC, Publix, you name it, restaurants like Olive Garden, Motec, all that. ZONIN Prosecco. Our guy Rob distributing this all over the country, but originally from Italy, 200 plus years of winemaking experience for the ZONIN family. 90 ranking from James Suckling, Best Value Award Wine Spectator. This is all legit. This is one of the best wines, one of the best Proseccos, period, best value, period, and support a fellow Cane. If they don't have it, ask for it. ZONIN Prosecco, ZONIN for ZONIN. 200 plus years of winemaking experience. Look at that atmosphere, man. You want these kind of classy vibes? ZONIN Prosecco, ZONIN. See if we got any updates here from our guy Ethan. No, he's still. Oh, here we go. Another update from Sebastian Font. Xavier Lucas shining in one-on-one drills. So you now heard it from two different folks that Xavier Lucas looks like he's going to be one of the early stars of spring practice number one with what he is doing in one-on-one drills. Let's see what we got here in the comments. Iron sharpens iron. That is a fact. The receiver group, the defensive back group is deep as can be. And I think the depth from wide receiver down. It's not only going to help the receivers, it's going to help the corners. It's also going to help the quarterbacks because they're going to get a much better look with that second and third team. Guys like Luke Nickel, guys like Darion Coleman. It's going to be a lot better for those guys instead of dealing with walk-ons where you're not getting true reps. You're getting reps. You're not getting that true elite ACC level, college football playoff level speed. Now you're getting that up and down the roster because you have the defensive backs and the wide receivers to give you that great look. If you want great Cuban food, there's only one choice: Islas Canarias Cuban Express, right there in the Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion. 7 different types of croquetas, including all the classics, plus different variations. You want something classic, get the OG ham, voted best croqueta in Miami a million times, almost every single year. Or you get the bacalao, the classic kind of traditional flavors. You can get the kimchi mojo pork if you want something totally different. You don't need meat. They got that too. They got gluten-free, anything you want. When you got 7 different types of croquetas, you got everything from the best croquetas in Miami, voted again every single year. Ask anybody, Islas Canarias. Plus the sandwiches, the cubaritos, the grab and go, the pastries, anything else you want. Cafecito to make sure you're locked and loaded like Mario Cristobal when he drinks his cafecito. Islas Canarias Cuban Express, Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion, centrally located close to everything. Go there for lunch. It is in the middle of everything, so you can't miss it. Islas Canarias Cuban Express. Nick Isaac asking, any major injuries you could talk about? I don't think there's any major injuries that I'm aware of. So I don't see that. Our guy, Nick West, a.k.a. Papas, from papasaltbrew.com, promo code CANES, says, I'm expecting a big year for OJ. Yep, I agree. I was talking to him on Friday. Very excited that the booty shorts rule doesn't seem to have passed. And, he's trying to be an NFL player, man. He knows he can cover anybody in the country. You saw him covering Jeremiah Smith. You saw him covering those Indiana wide receivers. He is as good as it gets. Looks like Xavier Lucas was locking down Cooper Barkate. Malachi Toney beating Bryce Fitzgerald. How about that, man? When we talk about Green Tree, what kind of competition are we talking about there? When you're got guys like Malachi Toney, Bryce Fitzgerald, all of these tremendous athletes. A lot of recruits. I mentioned Amir Sears, Nick Lanier is out there. So a lot of great players in attendance. By the way, this might be some breaking news, but keep an eye out for a commitment today. Speaking to some high school coaches this morning, and don't be surprised if you do see a commitment today, class of 27. So stay tuned. We will cover that on CanesInSight when it happens, but stay tuned for a commitment from a class of 2027 standout. Stay tuned. Both the comments guess who that might be. Giovanni Foster saying, I can see Poyser having a big year. I can see that too. Clutch asking, is Damari Brown 100%? I believe he is. He's working hard, and he's participating in practice, I believe, in full. No issues there. Let's see, one-on-ones continuing to progress. Let's see if we got any updates here on the one-on-ones. Van Spafford making a catch on an out route. Shout out to Marcus Benjamin with that update. But yeah, you got Van Spafford. I keep telling people, keep an eye on Van Spafford. I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure about the size part of it in terms of like his weight. Not because he's not going to be able to gain weight, just because he's a young player. So, that's part of it is gaining weight. But his route running, his hands, the fact that he's a real receiver who happens to be a 4.3 speed kind of player, I think is going to be very, very beneficial to him, like it was beneficial again to the guy I comp him to, which is Philip Dorsett. So Warren Wingo makes another catch. Sounds like he's an early standout as well from the one-on-ones based on what I am reading. Flankerton, could J.J. Dunnigan possibly be the Keontae Scott replacement? Yes, he could play nickel. He can play, he could play a ton of spots. So yeah, that's one name to keep an eye on at even outside corner, man. This guy can play anywhere that he needs to. You talk about outside corner, nickel, field safety, boundary safety. He's big, he's fast. People I've talked to say he's one of the fastest players on the team. So he could play at multiple spots because he is that versatile. Just continuing to read through. Let's take a look at the CanesInSight. By the way, if you guys want to know the best way to follow spring practice, you got to check out the CanesInSight message board. I mean, it's amazing, man, just how many updates you get on here. Yeah, you're hearing about like Xavier Lucas and Barkate having some battles. Luke Nickel hitting Van Spafford on a throw. But yeah, if you want to just let me just pull up the thread. CanesInsight.com, sign up for free. You get everybody's posts. You just get right here. They're just posting them right there. So you can keep track with everybody just by logging on to the thread. And it is going to be as fast as you can with all the updates. CanesInsight.com, the best place, aside from this live show, to track live while you are trying to keep up with what's happening in spring. Again, we'll cover spring like no one else, plus exclusive post-spring reports. You'll get Sebastian's thoughts, Pete's thoughts, my thoughts on CanesInsight.com. And that is free to join. So if you're not on CanesInsight.com, you're insane. Go to CanesInsight.com now. Sign up today for free. Alfire44 asking, have we hit 8 million posts yet? We are currently at 7.976 million posts. So I think you'll get the full-on 8 million sometime in spring here. Yeah, Terry Jefferson working with the corners today. So that will continue to be something. Let's see what's going on here. A lot of talk about Jarquez Carter. Who else is getting people's attention in the comments? Clutch saying D with 9-2-11 pros this year expected to be drafted. How many do you expect to get drafted from this roster? I mean, the whole roster, it's hard. I mean, talk about freshmen and stuff. In terms of like draft eligible guys, I mean, obviously Mensa, Mark Fletcher, those guys jump out right away. Wide receiver, Barkate, that would be one that jumps out right away. Defensive end, Damon Wilson will jump out right away. Offensive line, Matt McCoy. You're talking about him. We'll see Sampson if he goes pro. We'll see how Ryan Rodriguez develops. That could be one. Who knows? Those are some names that just jump out. Moton, obviously, Justin Scott, Marquise Lightfoot. Torrey and Chase Smith with their size. Let's see how healthy they can get. Zechariah Poyser, definitely. OJ Frederica and Xavier Lucas, if they leave, definitely. It could be this next year could be a huge year if Miami plays well, and hopefully the guys that leave are ready to leave. Because I named a lot of guys that are underclassmen. You don't want underclassmen leaving early, but it is possible that you get guys having great years and leaving, and you say, "Hey, listen, thanks for what you did for the Canes, man, and good luck in the pros." Seems like it's winding down here at practice. Let's just kind of scrolling through, seeing if anything's new. While we're waiting for some more updates, shout out to KashKick, KashKick. Give your free time a raise. One of the best apps in the country, biggest apps in the country too. 4.5 plus average rating in the App Store. 1.5 million plus downloads. Go to the App Store, you download KashKick, you plug in, and all the stuff you'd be doing for free, gaming, browsing, sharing your opinions, that ends up earning you real money. So you're already doing these things with KashKick. Why don't you give yourself a raise and get real money? It goes right to your PayPal account by playing games, browsing, doing surveys on the KashKick app. Download it today in the App Store, KashKick, and give your free time a raise. Honey Badger saying when the Canes play well. I got you. I'm not trying to kick all our team out the door, but there could be, with some underclassmen going pro, this could be a huge, even a bigger year next year in terms of the NFL guys. Although obviously you want that to be based on a really good season on the field. Canes 2026 champ says, told folks not to panic about the corners coach. I knew it would be Jefferson. Great coach. So just browsing for updates here. I want to make sure I give you guys all the latest before they call a lid on it and they send the media back. I think that might have happened based on the lack of updates here. Let's see anything new from one-on-ones, but I don't believe you might not see video from one-on-ones. I believe you're not allowed to film them. So that's why you hear them described, but you don't see them necessarily on the videos that I've been posting earlier. I think you're allowed to film, guys running around, but for reasons that make sense, they don't want to show one-on-ones. Sometimes you show the one-on-one and people go crazy about what happened. It goes viral. You read too much into a rep, and the coaches don't necessarily, like that. Again, just kind of scrolling through. Doesn't seem like there's anything new. Let's take a look at some other updates. I'll go to CanesInSight.com. That's going to have the most updates. Again, this live thread, just to give you an idea about this how CanesInsight works. We just started the live thread this morning. Already got 68 posts just in like an hour. That thing will get to hundreds of posts by the end of the day. Some recruiting news. Nef Jiwa, the rugby player, Nigerian, Irish, freak of nature, 6'7 plus, 300 pounds. He's on campus today. South Carolina tried to get him to shut down, according to Bruce Feldman. Offered him a huge NIL, and apparently he told Bruce Feldman, nope, Miami was on us first, so I want to be making my visit. So apparently, according to Bruce Feldman, Nef Jiwa, the Nigerian Irish offensive lineman, said, nope, I will not be shutting it down after visiting South Carolina, even though you're throwing a lot of money at me, because Miami was my first offer. I want to see him. So he's right here. He's here right now. Let's see if I can find the Bruce Feldman post talking about that. That shows you the value getting on someone early. Here we go. So this is Bruce Feldman, one of the most respected college football writers on the planet. Also, I'll say huge Canes fan. He's a journalist, but definitely a guy that's been great for Canes Nation, Canes grad who wrote the Canes Mutiny book. Says South Carolina wanted to give Nef Jiwa a huge NIL deal so he'd commit yesterday and cancel his Miami visit. But since Mario Cristobal was the towering OT prospect from Ireland's first offer, Jiwa wanted to take the trip to UM. He's visiting Canes right now. 6'7" and a half, 295 pounds, 37-inch arms, and runs a 4.88. Other than that, he's not that talented. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how that recruitment develops. With someone like that, obviously you can't get too much into it until those guys get on campus. You can meet them, you can talk to them. So I think that's why that process is moving along apace. It doesn't seem like anything's happening. I think practice. The practice keeps going, but I think the media portion of practice has likely ended. So you're going to start seeing people post their thoughts, and we'll bring on Pete for his thoughts shortly. And obviously when we get that, we'll go through there. Martin Dubé said, hey, D-Money, you see the kicker video I sent you? I saw it, working on it, my friend. Appreciate you and all you do to support the program. Speaking of supporting the program, very few people support the program like my guy from Scrap City. There you see it, Scrap City. Look at the Instagram, scrap-city.com. And that is Josh Sarnoff. Look at all the benefits of recycling. See, you probably have all these old electronics just sitting around your house wasting time. Why don't you recycle them? Recycling your e-waste helps reduce landfill waste, conserve natural resources, and ensure electronics are handled responsibly. By the way, another thing I know you guys are interested in is cold, hard cash. So get the best prices for your scrap metal. Whether you're a contractor, air conditioning guy, electrician, Scrap City offers competitive pricing, fast service, and reliable recycling solutions for fabrication shops, metal workers, you name it. If you got extra metal, take it to Scrap City. Got a location in Pompano Beach, location in Delray Beach. You can call today, 954-330-9472, or go to scrap-city.com. Support our guy, Josh Sarnoff, huge Canes fan, huge Canes Insight guy, and get money. A lot of ads are asking you to spend money. I'm giving you ads to make money. Scrap City being one of those ways with your extra scrap metal. Go to scrap-city.com. All right, looks like, again, things are quieting down. We're going to get the full breakdown from Peter Ariz shortly. Just kind of scrolling through, see if I missed anything here. This is a cool pic from Adam Lichtenstein. I wanted to highlight him from the Sun Sentinel. Posted this on Twitter. Look at the size of these guys: Milan Paris and Tyron Evans, 6'5" and 6'4". You think Miami's trying to upgrade the size in that room? I mean, that is legitimate size on top of the speed that you add with a guy like Van Spafford And of course, Amorian Wingo, great athlete as well. It looks quiet here. Let's get to some comments while we're waiting for Pete. Michael Quinones asked me, did you hear about that UTSA kicker with a 70-yard field goal and a 4.5 at his pro day? I didn't hear about him, but I'll tell you this. I heard that the guy we brought in, Weinberg from FSU, has one of the best legs they've ever seen. In terms of pure size, this guy is next level. Sorry, it's not pure size. I was looking at something else. You'll understand why I said that in a second. But in terms of pure leg strength and power, this guy is, Weinberg, I heard, is insane. And has a chance to be a pro kicker just from a leg strength perspective. So let's see how he develops. But that was a very interesting note that I heard. All right, here we go. Brandon Collier, who's helping out the recruiting process for the guy I just mentioned, Nefjiwa. Look at him standing next to Francis Malinois. You think he's got size? Look at his arms. But yeah, Francis Malinois, of course, killed pro day yesterday. He's going to be a top 5 pick if anybody's smart. And there you see him today with the offensive line in the background there. And there you see Nefjiwa. It's going to be an interesting player to watch from Ireland via Nigeria, rugby player, 4.88 according to Bruce Feldman. Another guy just to keep an eye on at practice, along with Amir Sears, Nick Lanier, potentially some commitments, which we talked about, at least one that I think is going to be imminent. Flanker says when he was watching Pro Day, he heard Carter Davis's kick through the broadcast. That still sounds a wee bit different coming off his boot. Ozell Hall says, big dude. Yeah, big dude running 4.88. If any of that's legit, you're talking about somebody who, if he was in America, probably would have been, 5-star prospect. Also with that Nefjiwa guy, I wanted to make sure this was understood. He's not a class of 27 signee. He's actually somebody who would be able to enroll right away. Oh, look at this. Pete, can you hear me? Take your mute. You're on mute. We see you. I don't know if we can hear you. Guys, let me know if you can hear Pete here. Here, I'm going to get out actually, and I'll let Pete do his thing alone. Let's see if that works. Let Pete know if you can hear. Let Pete know. Let Pete know. Still not hearing him. We can see you, Pete. We can't hear you. Parking lot. Oh, I thought I heard it for a second. Yeah, no sound from Pete, but we could definitely hear him. The people are waiting. Parking lot Pete's got the chat going insane. Let's see if we can get audio here.
Oh, Mike, thy check.
There you go. All right, you're good, Pete.
There he is. Let me take this off. Well, I gotta say, D, I was ready to come on here and talk about what I saw, but I'm a little jarred right now. I just met Coach Jay Lucas for the first time, so I'm trying to collect myself real quick here, quite frankly. But no, guys, we got about 50 minutes, almost an hour in there today, D, which I gotta say is like more than it felt like more than we normally would get in a spring. So that was awesome. I was posting live. The thing is, D, I use my Discord as my notes for these for these things. So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to pull up my notes technically while I'm on here right now without my let me try to pull up my laptop. But no, man, you see physically now in what is this gonna be year 5 now of Mario? Like, we don't need to make the statements anymore of, oh, this team looks different, right? This team is, at a certain point now, this is what you come to expect. And like, this was the first year that I don't look at it and I'm like, wow, what a huge jump in terms of the body types, right? You come to expect it now, right? Right off the bat, I'll say it right now, Terry Jefferson was working with the cornerbacks. I asked for confirmation on that, D. I pretty much just got kind of a grunt I'm not going to say who it was, but I didn't really get like a full confirmation on it. So I don't know if we're going to do if they're going to make an announcement officially, or there's still a chance they bring someone else in. But Terry Jefferson, who was the Nichols coach last year, was working with the corners today. So that's, I think, right off the bat, number one, I think, thing that I should mention, right? Because that was still a question mark going in here. But yeah, man, it's just a team that obviously in these first few practices you're looking at the freshmen a lot, but you still look around and say, man, you lost a lot in terms of, Bain, Mawano, and all that, but there's a lot returning and a lot of guys like, for example, looking at the cornerbacks group, right? Because I'll just start there, because I gotta tell you, seeing all four of those guys return and seeing them in practice today, I know we knew on paper that they were coming back, but just seeing those four today, I'm hard pressed to find a better corner room, right, in the country. Now we understand the nickel question. I think that'll be more by committee, but I saw that, and then I see a guy like a Brody Jennings, a freshman. I'm like, man, he looks real good. And I'm taking a video of it, and all of a sudden you walk up, and then you see Damari Brown, who looks like Derrick Henry out there, and it's like, this is how you start to stack it. Okay, so it's not only that you have these four guys, and I keep saying four guys. Obviously, there's more than that returning. Ryan Mack, I'll say, great to see him out there,
Yep.
Without any limitations, fully healthy. Like, we're all excited about the guys that we know about, but I'm excited to see someone like him. I'm excited to see a Cole McConaughey out there running around with the tight ends, right? Looking like a big, thick blocking tight end out there. I'm excited to see Gavin Mueller moving around out there, right? And those are the things that day one right away that just catch your attention, D. The trenches, the offensive defensive linemen were on the other side of the field from where we were, but some things that stood out, and then we saw another portion where they were closer, but Keona Davis transfer, D, from Nebraska. I don't know that we've talked about him a good amount, but I don't know that he's gotten enough attention in this whole thing. That was a big body type to bring into the room. I was harping last year that I didn't think you had enough of these 300 plus pound guys, and I don't know what he's weighing. I have the roster right now, but he's got the frame they're looking for. Playing in the interior today, I think you're probably going to see him there more than anything, just with how massive he is. Armando Blunt, we've talked about his inside-outside versatility. He, was working a lot with the defensive ends today, but I expect him to be an interior lineman in certain situations as well. Jarquez Carter looks like he's a guy who just body type-wise has some pop to him, D, and is a really good-looking athlete. Samorian Wing, and this is now me getting into my mode of just rattling names off, right? Because some of this stuff may be all over the place. Samorian Brody Jennings, I just mentioned him. He looks good, D. I like what I saw from him early on here, and had a good battle with Samorian Wingo. Wingo came back to the ball and really made a nice adjustment. Down, the ball was down and away from his body. Made a great catch to it. Van Spafford seemed like he got a lot of reps in the one-on-ones. And I don't know if this was just by coincidence or by design, but had like 4 matchups against Xavier Lucas. And that matchup, the first 2 or 3 of them went about how you'd expect it to go for a freshman who needs to put some weight on against an experienced 6'2" vet who also has speed of his own. And I think, by the way, those reps, even though it's against a guy who should still be in high school, but the reps that I saw today highlighted why Xavier Lucas is such a special NFL prospect, because of his ability to stay with a smaller guy like Spafford. He was just too physical as soon as he got his hands on him, right? He was way too physical. I think on the 3rd rep, Spafford finally caught a ball, but it was one of those where it would have been over the ball. The quarterback would have had to throw the ball away, or it was a sack. And then like the 4th time they went against each other, Spafford got him on an underneath crosser, which you would expect. That's where you'd expect Spafford to win. So I think it'll be a process with Spafford. Excited about the potential there, but the strength is gonna be something that you need to see more of. I think he's gonna be who needs to work from the slot, because a lot of this stuff that we saw, and again, one-on-ones, but he was on the perimeter there, so that's, at this point, better suited for Lucas. But I wanted to highlight that matchup because that was a pretty consistent matchup in the one-on-ones. Gavin Mueller, you can see him moving around, looks good. No, seems like he knows how to shield his body. Had a pretty bad drop. The ball just kind of went right through his hands. But it was literally his first rep of, I guess, his practice career officially here at Miami, outside of just like the team workout stuff that they're doing. So this is the learning curve stuff. Malachi Tony looks, I don't know if it's a number 10, but he looks like a big boy out there. Tight end and linebacker, I'm going to be very interested to see those two positions, D. Lofton, who we've been, excited about what his role could be. We saw him not really being healthy last year, or probably be in the best shape. That's going to be something to monitor, right? We didn't have any limitations in terms of the jersey he was wearing, like full contact and all that. But you want to see him as probably as lean as he can possibly be, right? So that'll be a work in progress, as this thing continues going during spring. And that's a position, that's a tight end room with a lot of reps up for grabs, I think, because there's a lot of moving pieces there. You didn't bring any transfers in. You got a couple freshmen. I think Mueller's going to factor in big time. I think, of course, Luka Gilbert. To me, D, Luka Gilbert looks like the best tight end in that room right now. That's just my opinion, right? And that's not saying Lofton it can play a certain role, but from what I see right now, I think Luka Gilbert is primed to be the best tight end of this team this year. An hour of practice I just saw, right? And it's not like he was making one-handed grabs looking like Gronk or anything, but that's how I see it, right? Offensive line wise, we saw some stuff. You saw some reps of McCoy at tackle, Cantwell working a little bit of both sides, right? So this is what you're going to see. SJ Alafatuli, moving around a bit too. These are just off the top of my head, but this is what you're going to see early on in spring, and really throughout spring, right? You're going to see a lot of mixing, matching going on the offensive line there. So nothing really crazy to report there. Again, the offensive lineman working on the other side of the field, but we did get about 7 minutes. Nothing. A lot of this stuff is just snapping the ball correctly right now, and lining everyone up where they're supposed to be. I gotta say this, D. I don't know if this is. Mario knows how optics work, man. Mario knows how optics work. He was directly working right in front of the media today, directly working with the punt block unit. I kid you not. And it was, you got the 3 guys there in the backfield in front of the punter. It was, they had 7 lines of that, 6 lines of that working. I don't know that I've seen them work that drill, but I don't know that I've seen that amount of people in the drill before. And I can't say I haven't seen Mario work with the special teams, but he was into it today. He was into it today in that drill in specific. And, I don't think there's any coincidence, right? I think that national championship game moment has haunted Mario. By the way, everyone talking about the special teams coach and all that, I think it's a moment where Mario says, you know what? I got to maybe take some matters into my own hands, right? And maybe this is me reading into things, but from a first practice, but I wasn't the only one who noticed that. So that was an interesting thing that happened there. What else do we have? Shoot. I said Blunt. You know who looked pretty thick, D, was Ashari Charles. He looked like he put some weight on. For sure. Lightfoot. I mean, he looks like Lightfoot in terms of his physical nature. Probably put a few pounds on. You know who I posted a picture of that caught my attention was that I initially first thought was someone else. I thought it was Damon Wilson from the other side of the field, but it was Kamal Bonner. Yeah, Bonner looks like he's beefed up D. You know, I don't know how healthy he was last year. I wasn't when I saw these practices last year. I can't say. And linebacker's a tough one when they're not going full speed, and the parts of practice that I'm watching is not the full thing. But he wasn't necessarily someone that I was like, man, like he's flying around. He's looking like someone who could be a factor. That was more Kellen Wiley to me when I saw that last year, right? Bonner looked just a little bit thicker. Looked like he was sturdier. I think sometimes those tall guys, those tall guys, you need that extra because he's 6'3", 6'4", 2. He was probably about 210 last year, 215, and I don't know what he is weighing right now, but you need those long limb guys at linebacker, especially. Right, we always talk about that needing to be we want that to be the prototype. Those guys who can run, but if they don't have the adequate strength, then they're gonna probably deal with some injury stuff. You know, not be 100%. But he's someone that I haven't really talked about much these last couple months after the season because I wanted to see it, and we still just a very brief thing there. But him, Wiley. Who else am I missing there? At that spot.
JJ Edwards.
There's a few guys. JJ Edwards. Hold on a second. Let me see. 34 and 32. Let's see here. We gotta go 34 and 32. Let me tell you something, D. It's funny. That was one of those things that I just made a mental note of. I didn't write down. I didn't take a picture of. And actually, they're in the video that I took of Bonner. But I didn't really process that 34 and 32 were Jordan Campbell and JJ Edwards. Golly, we got something there. Well, both of them. Man, those are freshmen. Let me tell you. Hold on a second here. Whoops, I'm beeping. That beep was inadvertent. That's how excited I'm getting talking about those two. But yeah, man, those two look, because they don't look they look twitched up. They don't look tiny. They look like quick, light on their feet. They look to me like a bit better than what Wesley Besant looked like when he first got to Miami. They look closer to what Wesley Besant looks like right now than what Wesley Besant looked like. And I don't say this as a slight to Wesley. Wesley was a big recruit and had an awesome 4-year career at Miami. Became, a very important player for this defense the last couple of years. But you want to continue raising the floor. Those two look like, the Jordan Campbell one is going to be really interesting to me because he never played that position, but you see all the traits on film. JJ Edwards, we've talked about him since the day he committed, but since really the week he stepped on campus, he was killing the workouts. So, yeah, excited about those two, man. Those guys look how they're supposed to look. Now, I'll say Kellen Wiley, Bonner, those two. Who else am I missing there? Obviously, Chase Smith and Teray. But you need those guys to step up and become players early. Linebacker and tight end are the two positions right now, D, that if you're gonna ask me, hey, let's not be like super like optimistic right now, and let's really try to look at things evenly. I think linebacker and tight end will be the separating positions for this team moving forward, because I feel really good about a lot of these other spots.
Quarterback, what you see? I mean, there was just, you didn't see a ton, but just the ball leaving the hands and everything else.
Shoot, I posted a video on the Discord, but I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't do Darion Coleman any favors standing next to John Anderson in those drills when they go 2x2 there. Coleman's release is ridiculously fast. I mean, it's freakish. It's about as, even when they're doing like the 3-yard tosses to the tight ends and the running backs right when you start, it just like he's just going like this. And the ball is I mean, it's a pretty ball. So that's the case, but at the same time, D, you have to also say,
nope. Did we lose parking lot Pete? Let's see. He's plugging in right now, I'm sure. Hopefully, we get him back here to finish while we're waiting for him to load up. Want to shout out the Miami Hurricane team store. Oh, wait, he's back. So no shout out. Let's bring it right back.
Getting
Pete.
phone calls, man. People don't realize I'm in the parking lot right now, doing my thing. But no, I with that being so, D, you have to say the size, isn't it? Like is something that's a factor with him, right? Like he's tiny. Um, I know I'm not saying anything differently, but that's just you're in pads there and you're within space. Luke Nickel looks, sturdy. It seemed like he was like the second quarterback in the reps. Not that that means anything right now, but um, I may be completely wrong there. But Mensa, as you said a few times, looks heavier than I would have thought, in a good way. Like it's good weight to his body to be able to take hits and all that. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I would say really stood out about those guys just yet from what we were watching, other than just the physical observations there. Omar Thornton, I mean, he's not the tallest guy in the world, but he's built like a truck.
Did Barkay take any one-on-one reps, Cooper?
I don't really have any observations about him. I'll say that.
All right, Pete. So bring us home on the practice, then you got to tell us about Jay Lucas.
Yeah, I'm trying to just go through here if I have anything. Oh, couple young guys that kind of stood out. Tyron Evans, I can tell you, if he gets some weight on his frame, he's skinny right now, but he had a couple good catches, had a couple slants that just kind of knows how to shield with his body. He had Jontavius Wyman on a slant, which Wyman's on the smaller side. I don't know. That's a great matchup for him at this point, but he might be something, red shirt sort of guy. And yeah, I think you might have something there if you can stick with it. But Milan Paris, we've talked about him. He had a drop that kind of like Mueller, like his first opportunity, just ball kind of went right through the wickets there. But concentration stuff early, so I don't expect them to be. I don't expect those to be issues moving forward. But just growing pains.
Awesome. Well, listen, every day we're going to be doing this with Pete in practice. And then we'll keep it going. Even when I'm back down, we'll still be doing this, man. The parking lot Pete and post game Pete are vying for the top spot on the list.
What's this supposed to mean? What's this supposed to mean? That I took my meds this morning. The heck does that mean?
No clue, Pete. So hold on. Talk about Jay Lucas before we get you out of here. Talk about that meeting.
No, he was actually walking by I didn't even realize it at first. I was so dialed in on stepping out of practice and giving my thoughts here that I wasn't paying attention. And then our guy Mark, shout out to Mark, who I'm about to, when I get off here, we're about to dissect the footage a little bit now. Yeah. And all that. So basically, yeah, he walked by, and then I had to walk back to the car to get something, and I introduced myself, gave me a hug, said appreciate everything this year, appreciate you putting us out there. That's what he said. I didn't say. I said, Coach, that's all you, Coach. That's all you, man. But no, man, we're gonna be doing something else with him soon. We're great. The Canes Hoops media team was great with us this year and gave us great access to a lot of stuff and interviews and all that. So we'll be doing like a season wrap here with Coach. Hopefully later this week, actually. So he's working, man. He's on the move. He didn't seem to be down in spirits either. He's ready to get back to work. So
awesome, man. Well, listen, shout out to you. Shout out to Mark. A lot of content. Like I said, if you're not liked and subscribed to all this stuff with the YouTube, CanesInSight.com, Pete's Discord. We got Twitter, Instagram. There is a multi-pronged attack here. You're going to get coverage on spring like you wouldn't believe. So again, Pete, appreciate you. Get on your way. Get your lunch, and we'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Later.
All right, there he is. Parking lot Pete. As I was saying, shouting out the Miami Hurricane team store right there. Canes baseball in full swing. Got the new era hats. Those are really cool. Get some of those. Although I still can't rock the flat brim. Too old for that. I had to bend it. So that's my style. My kids all wear with that. They keep the sticker on it. I guess that's the new way to do it. Shout out to LeFavor if you want to be trendy with it too. They got all different kinds of options. Old school. MiamiHCS.com or in store across the street from University of Miami. All you got to do is use promo code INSIGHT20 in store or on the website, MiamiHCS.com. INSIGHT20 will get you 20% off your first item. That's promo code INSIGHT20. Over 1,100 joining us now. Appreciate you guys. Remember to like and subscribe to the show. Stay tuned for potential commitment. We'll be covering that as always. Go Canes.